What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Week 2 FanDuel Tournament Plays video presented by PrizePicks. I'm your host, Adam Scherer. You can follow me on Twitter at ShipMyMoney'sDFS. And as a reminder, be sure to click the link below to claim up to a $100 first match deposit bonus when you sign up and deposit at PrizePicks. Today, we're going to take a look at 3 of the top tournament stacks using the top stacks tool for FanDuel large field tournaments. Starting at number 3, the San Francisco 49ers are hosting the Seattle Seahawks. The Niners are 9-point favorites with a 25.5-point implied total. They are projected, or Trey Lance is projected for 6% ownership. The stack has a 7% chance of being the top scoring stack. The Niners are likely to go a bit overlooked this week, coming off of a really ugly performance last week. They were playing in bad weather, and this is going to be an offense that, even if they're inconsistent this year, gives you upside from week to week because you have a lot of rushing ability from Trey Lance. You have quality receivers with Deebo Samuel, with Brandon Ayuk, with George Kittle, if he's able to go. And so even if you have a young quarterback in Lance that is raw and is going to have some really bad weeks, it's going to be pretty advantageous during the season, I think, to be willing to bounce on them, especially when they are relatively low owned. There's a lot of upside here and also not a lot of expense. This team is relatively inexpensive to stack as well, in addition to having a very high ceiling. Number 2, the Las Vegas Raiders hosting the Arizona Cardinals. We have the Raiders with a 21% chance of being the top scoring stack, and Derek Carr projected for about 11% ownership. They're 5.5-point favorites with a 28.5-point implied total. This stack is pretty easy to figure out. Derek Carr, obviously a quarterback. Devontae Adams, the clear-cut number 1, just going to be targeted a lot. But then there's other guys that you can mix in if you're going to stack 2 guys. Also, if you just go Carr plus anybody not named Devontae Adams, that's going to be contrarian. Not my preferred approach since Adams does dominate targets, but I'm sure he'll have more than one bad game this year. But either way, whether you're going with Adams or not, you have Mac Hollins as a cheap deep threat. You have Hunter Renfrow as a possession receiver. You have Darren Waller as one of the highest upside tight ends week to week. So this makes for a very high scoring, or has the potential to be a very high scoring stack, assuming the Cardinals are able to hang in this game. And number 1, the Los Angeles Rams are projected for an 11% chance of being the top scoring stack, 9% ownership projected to Matthew Stafford. They're similar to the Raiders in that Cooper Kupp is likely to dominate targets, and he's a clear top wide receiver option. Matthew Stafford, that pulls up Stafford, makes him a very appealing option in tournaments as well. One spot that I do like to get to in tournaments this week, though, whether it's with Kupp or in place of Kupp, is Allen Robinson, coming off of a week where he was essentially non-existent. People tend to overreact to week 1 and every previous week throughout the season, but especially week 1, since we don't have any sample of games where Allen Robinson has been involved and has done well. You're just going to get people afraid to click on his name, even though it is extremely unlikely that he just isn't involved all season long. It's much more likely that we look back, weeks from now, and week 1 is just a blip on the radar for Robinson, and he has success in this offense. So as a multi-receiver stack, going Kupp plus Robinson makes sense. I think you can go Robinson plus Higbee, something like along those lines, even though that's not going to work out too frequently because of Cooper Kupp. When it does work out, you're going to have very contrarian Stafford stacks as a result. So to recap, the top 3 tournament stacks on FanDuel: number 3, the San Francisco 49ers; number 2, the Las Vegas Raiders; and number 1, the Los Angeles Rams.